Hi, I'm Aubrie.
Hi, I'm Kathleen. We're two friends having a good time.
I happen to be a Christian, and that's okay.
And I happen to be an atheist, and that's okay.
Welcome to the Christian and the Atheist podcast.
Let's dive in.
Hey guys, have you left a review for our podcast yet? Head over to wherever you listen to your podcast and do that right now.
And follow us on Instagram and Facebook at The Christian and the Atheist, and TikTok at Christian and Atheist.
Check us out on Patreon for ad-free content.
And speaking of ads, if you or your business would like to sponsor the Christian and the Atheist podcast, feel free to contact us to get started.
Coming up on the Christian and the Atheist podcast.
If you want kids to be in church who are part of this spectrum,
make a space for them,
make sure they're safe there. And you're not. You're kicking people out who do that. So you lie in the bed that you made.
Damn. Well, I was like, I don't know that I want to try another Christian church, but I'm not going to the Church of Satan.
No, it's not on your list? Okay.
No.
Until I left Mormonism, I had never even heard of a Universalist church.
So we have been recording, and you guys have gotten to listen to the situation that's been at hand. I don't go to church anymore.
Yeah.
Whoa. So let's update.
Wow.
Oops, sorry, Jesus. So everybody's been like really great and been like, you should try this place, you should try that place. And I've been like, do I want to go to a church that, I mean, even affirming churches, like, what are those like? And I'm sure they're great.
Yeah.
I would like to not ride them off, but I was like, I don't know that I want to even go to a evangelical church.
Right.
I'm kind of sick of the narrative of we're born into sin and we need to repent. Where I'm like, okay, there's bad things and we make shitty decisions and we're not the greatest.
Sure.
But are we learning? Are we born into that? I mean, like, what's that mean? And so that's a theological question I've been asking myself. And
that's a tough one. I've been there, and it's a lot to think about and a lot to mull over in your brain.
So the idea of finding a new church is a nightmare. Why do you think I went to Life Church for 20 years?
Yeah. Why do you think I just switched to atheism? I'm just kidding. I was like, well,
it's not for me. So there's a Lutheran church that is in Tulsa that is affirming. I might check it out. I might not.
Yeah.
But we've been not going to church for over a month, right at a month. We went, I think it's been four Sundays we didn't go to church. And I was like, holy crap. The amount of time you have on a Sunday to get, it's a second Saturday. Like I remember you talking about, wow.
Yeah.
And I, as the Christian going to church, sitting there thinking, I mean, cool, but I like going to church. I like this. So I don't really need that.
Right.
But oh my gosh.
It's a lot of time.
It is.
It's a whole nother day.
It's literally second Saturday. You can go to the lake and spend the day on the lake. Yeah. You know what I mean? And go again or stay the night. And there's a lot of things going there. And it's not like we were chained to going on Sundays. We were making the decision. We loved it. Well, I was like, I don't know that I want to try another Christian church, but I'm not going to the Church of Satan.
No, it's not on your list. Okay.
No,
I hear they're affirming. I'm not sure.
I think so.
I think they are.
Yeah, they're the underdogs. I feel like a lot of ex-Christians, in my opinion. Maybe, I don't know.
Who knows?
Anyway, so Unitarian Universalist kept coming up. We've seen the All Souls Church.
Yeah, they marched in the Pride Parade. They had a float. It was cute.
When we were at the Pride Parade, there were so many different churches there.
Yeah.
That was so...
that was amazing.
That was healing.
There was, every other booth we stopped at was a church. There were so many people, floats, marching in the parade.
Passing out waters that said, you are beautifully and wonderfully made.
Yeah.
And are child of God, something of that. And with a rainbow heart. It wasn't it wasn't rhetoric against the gay people.
Yeah, it wasn't we're here to fix you. It was we're here celebrating with you.
And happy Pride. And we believe God loves you and is for you.
Yeah. And
in Jesus' name I pray, amen, kind of thing. It was good. And then, so that was a healing moment. So I was kind of put off by the idea of going to a Universalist church just out of being Christian, you're told not to do stuff like that.
Right. I've never heard anything about it. Until I left Mormonism, I had never even heard of a Universalist church.
So I have a TikTok that I listened to this morning.
Okay.
And it is a Universalist Reverend pastor, whatever she is. And she's going to explain Unitarian.
Okay.
So that's what this is. So you're going to listen to it. and then we'll go further into my experience with it.
I've never heard of Unitarian Universalism. Is it Christian-based? Great question. First of all, I'm not surprised that you have not heard of us. Unfortunately, we tend to be the best kept secret in town. Some of us are trying to change that. We are a very small denomination. And our history, it comes out of Christianity, but we have expanded so that we are no longer limited to being Christian. And I think that that's a more appropriate way to say it than to say we are not Christian, because we do still have Christians within this faith, and we do still draw from Christianity. The very quick history is that Unitarianism and Universalism, at the end of the 1700s, start of the 1800s here in the United States. It also developed, especially Unitarianism, developed elsewhere. But in the U.S., these were denominations of Christianity. And then in 1961, because both of these faiths had kind of developed in some very parallel ways, in 1961, these two denominations consolidated, creating Unitarian Universalism. Now, even before that consolidation, both of those faiths had been evolving. And that was, there is something in the DNA of both that from the very beginning, they had an evolutionary nature and a widening so that they could draw from wisdom outside of Christianity. This continued developing, and that's kind of where we are now. We are a non-creedal, pluralist faith that draws wisdom from wherever we can find it.
Okay.
So
yes, Christian, but not only.
So there's Kathleen has a cup. And did you hear the big bink? That was Kathleen catching a fly in her cup.
I caught it. I killed it.
Her hands on her cup, and she's trying to kill it with her coffee.
Sorry, I got him. Yeah, he's dead now.
Dying.
Drowning. R.I.P. little buddy. Sorry, not to distract, but like he's been flying around our faces all day, and I'm like, I'm gonna kill you.
Stop it. Okay, so what it is it's, so you say here All Souls. So they welcome Hinduism, they welcome Buddhism, they welcome Muslims, Islam, all that ideas. They welcome the different belief systems, and they even welcome the atheists.
They do.
They have a humanist situation. Okay, so how do you do that? What's that look like? Yeah. So we were like, so the Saturday that I was having a hard time because I wasn't able to go to at the movies, and I said this in another recording.
Yes.
So, I was having a hard time. I wanted to go because it's a big hoopla, and you feel like you're missing out if you don't go.
Yeah.
And so what happened was I woke up that Sunday and was like looking at All Souls, or the other church too. There's another one. And I was like, it's a Unitarian church. Let's try this. And I'm going to kind of put my dirty laundry out there. Frank might not enjoy this, but he's fine. We're fine. We're not fighting anymore. But he didn't want to go.
Yeah.
He was like, I don't want to go to church. Why are we going to church now when we talked about how we don't want to anymore?
Right.
And it wasn't like we said, we're not doing this.
Right.
We said, what if we didn't? And he is going through his own little walk situation.
Of course.
And I am. And we're experiencing it differently. And he was in this place of like, I'm pissed.
It happened. There's been so many times in the journey that Brandon and I had together. I can't tell you how many times we laid in bed where one of us said, what if we blah, 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 and the other said, hell no, I don't want to do that. That's a terrible idea. I hate that idea. This sucks.
Not on the same page.
Yeah. Just trying to meld together your own personal journeys with the journey of your family as a whole is hard.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
And so we were sitting there. I was literally like, he's like, what changed? And I was like, I just wanted to go to a church today. Sunday. Well, you wanted to know. It was at the movies. We're not going out to movies, and I'm feeling feelings about it. And maybe if I'm not going out to the movies, I can go to another church and see what that's like. And if it works out, it works out. And he's like, oh. And so there's an 10:30 service, and then there's the 11. Well, damn, what time was it? I guess 10 o'clock, and then 11:30 service. Kind of like Life Church. How funny. Anyways. So we missed the 10 o'clock service because we were having a conversation that was very heated in the sense of he was kind of like, this sounds terrible. And then there's the 11:30 and it's the humanist.
Okay.
So humanist/atheist. So we ended up going to that one.
Yeah.
And
so they have multiple services. They have one that's for...
It's called traditional.
It's for religious believing,
but it's not
Christian type. But it takes philosophies from Christianity,
Yes.
from Buddhism, from just basic philosophists.
So I don't know what that looks like, but I do know what the humanist one was. And I was like, if Brandon and Kathleen were here, they'd be having a gay old time. Like,
we would have gone to the human. We actually have.
Yeah.
We've gone to not gone to it.
But online, yeah.
We looked online when we first left Mormonism. We tried multiple other churches, and this is one of the ones we did watch a few of their sermons online. We'd watch the humanist ones.
So we drive to the church. It's 30 minutes away. It's on the other side of town. Like, we're going not to Tulsa. We're going the other side of Tulsa that's not near us.
It's more of a drive than the minute and a half from your house to Life Church.
I mean, Life Church is down, like, it was super duper nice and close. Yeah. Anyway, so... sad story. Anyways, drive a long way, whatever. I didn't want to have to drive to Tulsa, but here we are. So we drive there, we get there, we park, and we're walking in the parking lot, and in big yellow letters in the parking lot is Black Lives Matter.
Painted down.
And I was like...
it's not temporary with chalk, it's part of the church.
It's
says it.
Permanent. And I was like, Frank's like, are you kidding me? This
Green
exists?
flag.
Yeah. So then we go up. There's like a rainbow something somewhere, like, to express that allyship or whatever. And so we walk in, we talk to the children's director, and she talks to us. She's like, yeah, it's like little C Christian. It's not Christian. You're not walking into it. And by the way, this church has a black steeple, I'm pretty sure. And I laughed at that. Like, it's a steeple and it's black.
That's hilarious.
And I walked into this church. It has that smell of an old church. It has the look of an old church.
Yep.
I mean, I'm talking...
I wonder if... Because I've driven past it. It's a beautiful... But it is an old building.
It's a church.
In an older part of town. I wonder if it used to be a Methodist church.
Well, I think it's always been Unitarian.
Really?
Maybe it could... I'll learn. I'll let you know. Because I'm going to take a class. But I'll keep you informed. But the building is very old. It feels like the old churches that I used to go to visit with family or to go to a funeral or something. And
old school.
I get discomfort from that feeling. Like, because I'm like, y'all teach toxic theology here.
Right.
And then to walk in...
Old school Christianity doesn't usually mean good things. And
there's probably hymnals, cool, whatever. But I went to a church that didn't do hymns. Like, I don't know hymns off the top of my head. You know, like, it's not many. Anyways, so...
You're going to be fine.
Yeah, I'm still going to be fine. Jesus still loves me.
Hymns are overrated.
Anyways, it's giving that vibe. And then, so we went, and I'll just kind of give a brief description of what we saw. And it was crazy. How do I word this?
I don't know.
You walk in. It's time to go to church. You walk, like, kids are with us, just like in an old school style church. They're like, you're going to watch a scene from a play called The Christians. Okay. And then we're going to talk about it.
Okay.
I was like, we're going to talk about it? So I was thinking is open dialogue. No, it's their sermon.
Okay.
They have the area where you can get refreshments. You can get
snacks.
Watermelon and cookies, tea, coffee.
Cool.
And there's a bookstore in there. And I'm walking in that area. My kids are over there running amok. Other kids are running amok.
Yeah.
And then this couple comes in with their sticks, and they're blind. So they're like, they have their guiding sticks. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is going to be a nightmare for them in this room.
The amount of children running.
Because the kids are everywhere. And you know what that's like. And the moms are always like, watch out, honey, watch out. No, nobody's mom's in here. And it's okay. No judgment there. And I'm like, the blind are in here. And they're going to get like trampled. So I'm standing there and I'm just watching and observing, and these kids are running into them, and they're like, oh, sorry. And I'm like standing by the guy, and I was like, there's like 1 million kids in here, isn't there? And he's like, yeah, it's funny, and like kind of like laughed, and then we just started talking. So there's people of different abilities there.
Yeah.
And then I saw a lady who is transgender, and I was like, okay.
Green flag.
Like, yeah. And
Again.
then I'm looking around, and I'm like, there's old people here.
Yeah.
There's more old people here than at the church I came from. There's no old people at the church I came from.
The only thing that I remember from, like, when we left church and were talking to people about going to churches, I remember at one point someone showed us, like, a YouTube video. It was a comical thing, but it was like, if you want blah, 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 go here. If you want this, go there. And, like, the Mormon one I remember was like, if you want a lot of weird blonde people smiling hard, go to Mormonism. And they said, if you want old lesbians, go to the Universalists. Okay. And I was like, that's funny. Yeah. I don't know, how accurate.
I mean, I don't remember seeing any lesbian couples, but I didn't go to the traditional service. This was the atheist service. Right. Honest to God, it was. Yeah. Because they were, like, making jokes about Christianity. Not an inflammatory, like, nothing, like. Not me. I'm used to hearing it. Yes. But it's nothing, like, where I'm, like, getting up and walking out or feeling uncomfortable. It's kind of like, oh, that's silly.
Like, almost like poking fun at ourselves type of thing.
Yes. Yeah. And so, while I was sitting there talking to that, okay, fast forward, we watch the scene, it's cool, whatever, and they talk about, is hell real? And then the pastors, there's a regular white dude, and I'm like, he's like, looks like an old school pastor talking, and I'm literally like, I'm just nervous to be in a place where it looks like, it's just literally, there's like, they're dressed like people you expect to say really bad things, and they're saying everything opposite of that. Yeah. And then there's people in this building that look like what you would want your church to look like. Right. And my mind is breaking, like, in a good way. And I'm like, lots of things are falling off of me that I'm like borderline about to cry the entire time. Like, the main guy was up there doing announcements and said, because they're taking the books from the banning books from the library.
Oklahoma is banning a lot of books right now, which is a bullshit.
And there's a lot, and there's a lot that are LGBTQ plus based. Yeah. And so he said that the Equality Center people are here to help us because they have a library, stock our library with the banned books so that people still have access to these books. And I'm like sitting there.
Specifically, queer kids have access to queer representation in queer books for them.
And there's a place to get them.
That's fantastic. I'm sitting there
like,
that's a garden of green flags.
Yes. My brain literally, I'm like not kidding. I was holding back tears at that moment. Yeah. And so then
I think you might be allowed to serve there, Aubrie.
I think I might be allowed to serve there.
Not that I'm saying you have to go there. You know what I'm saying.
No, I know exactly what you're saying. So then the preacher gets up to preach. There's there's a main guy and then there's like a co-preacher, assistant or whatever. And he gets up to preach. It's this black dude. He's got a wedding band on and he's like very much preaching. Like it feels like a Christian preaching, but not Christian at all. Right. And Frank's just is philosophy. Yes. And Frank's sitting here eating it up. Yep. And I'm sitting here.
He's not mad anymore.
I'm looking around. I'm looking up high. I'm looking down low. I'm looking at all the things. I'm looking at the people. And I'm just like, wow, this is weird. But I'm like, okay, it's good. It's not bad. So then we talk to the main guy after he like comes and meets us. And he's like, where are you guys from? Are y'all like, tell me about yourself. And I'm like, coming from Life Church. And he's like, oh my gosh, I am so sorry that happened to you. Yeah. And then he said that Reverend Randy and his husband have he was a Christian and now he and his husband go here. And I was like, I'm sorry, what? I just had a black gay guy.
The pastor is a black married gay man.
And I was like, this is unreal. I'm loving I literally about fell. I was like, God, you're funny.
He's like, gotcha. Ding,
He's
ding,
like,
ding,
listen, you can't be here. You need to go here.
Joke.
Yeah. Like, here you go. Like, this is the place that there are places like
it exists. There are places out there that exist. You just have to find them.
And he said, I want you guys to try this out. And if this doesn't work for you, if this isn't your home, I want to help you find where your home is.
The pastor said that to you. That's unheard of.
And I was like, okay.
He didn't say, this is absolutely the place God wants you to be. He said, I'd love for you to be here. Yeah. But if it doesn't work, let's help you find something that does.
Right. So
that's crazy.
That was crazy. And I was like, okay, cool. So I'm like, when we left, Frank was just on cloud nine. I'm so glad you told us to come here. I'm glad you threw a fit and wanted. He didn't say throw a fit. I threw a fit.
Yeah.
And I'm glad you were very adamant about us going. And the kids went to children's church, had a great time.
That's
Ashton
good.
was like, meh. But Ashton's a meh kind of person about anything.
That's true. Sometimes he won't look at my face. Sometimes he's like,
it's not good enough
today.
to look at.
Not today, ma'am.
I have a, not that that's the truth, but he is that kid.
He is. And I appreciate his honesty.
Yeah. And like anytime we went on vacation, and I was like, what do you think about that? And he's like,
it's fine.
I didn't really like it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, we know what you're feeling.
That's good.
And so
he is never going to not let you know how he feels.
Exactly.
You're always going to know.
I want that.
It's great stuff. It's great stuff.
Most of the time. Anyway, so yeah, it was funny because he's like, the snacks were lame. I was like, well, maybe we can bring snacks one day.
The cookies weren't up to snuff.
Yeah.
Huh?
Sharon's like, the youth group was amazing. And the children's church, Lexi had the best time.
Yeah.
And Ashton didn't. Yeah, it was funny. And I'm like, okay. So Sharon wants to go back.
Yeah.
And we're definitely going to go try the other group.
Yeah, the traditional.
Yeah. And Frank wants to do both.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, we did Life Church. We did a lot there. I was there for hours. Whatever. I don't care if you want to do this. And I was like, I'm down. And then they have a freaking garden in the back. So we went to that. And this guy was like, yeah, me and my partner, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, there's LGBTQ plus everywhere.
They're comfortable there.
And
they're safe
at
there.
Church.
Yeah. A safe place for them.
This is what I wanted for them.
Yeah.
And for me and my family. Yeah. And like all of us to be brothers and sisters in Christ or in the
whatever.
Creator.
Yeah.
In just the earth. Like whatever it is. I want that and I want it to be a good thing. So that's what this looks like it could be. Are we attending it and we're members? Not yet. Are we thinking about it? Yeah.
Yeah. I'm glad.
Did I feel the spirit there? I mean, I don't know. I felt a lot of things.
Was it more spiritual than the Mormon temple? I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Yeah, shocker.
Because when you hear about someone saying like inclusive talk in every aspect, and I'm not just here just for one group of people that are disenfranchised. I'm here for all of us.
The fact that there were
all God's children, if you want to call it that,
signs saying Black Lives Matter. There's people represented in the LGBTQ communities. There are people who are blind,
able to
able people who are able to be there and be comfortable and be safe. Again, these are all good things. If you're somebody who's looking for this in a church, this exists.
Oh, and another thing, when they took up offering, they were like, okay, so instead of talking about tithe, they talked about, because this is the humanist group, this isn't Christians, or believers or whatever. I don't know what they are.
Who knows?
Anyways,
humanism just means, humanism just doesn't necessarily mean that you're atheist. Not, it doesn't necessarily mean atheist. It is a term that a lot of atheists adopt, but it just basically means I am here for humanity. I am here for my fellow man. Yeah.
And so they said we have people that pledge to the church and pay their pledges, monthly pledges, and they were like, thank you. And then they said, we're taking up an offering for the Alzheimer's Research Foundation. A lot of people, or some kind of, not necessarily research, but the Alzheimer's Foundation that help people that are going through that with their families and need support.
Here's where my community outreach. Here's an actual cause that needs help, and here we are doing it. That's what that one was for. When you pay your tithing or pledge, or you give your $20 or however much you're able to do, that's going to help actual people in your community who need it. Who's complaining?
Whoa.
That sounds great.
Mind-blowing, right?
It's not buying somebody's shoes or a shopping mall.
Yeah.
I love that.
There you go.
High five, guys.
So yeah, and then in the garden they had a Buddha, and I was like, there's a Buddha.
Cute.
Yeah, they're working on upkeep stuff, and Frank's like, I want to help.
Frank's like, give me a shovel. I'm here.
Yes. It was awesome.
I love it.
But anyways, so that's my journey.
There's an update.
Now. That's the update.
I love it. I'm excited to hear how the traditionals, because I know the traditionalist, the word, like the idea of it is nerve-wracking to you. That traditional feel is not what appeals to you.
I don't want to go to a traditionalist church in a capital C Christian church. Like, I don't.
It's not the place.
No, it sounds like what you do when you go to church with your grandma and you're there for 3 hours and it's scary.
And the person up there is saying things that you're like, that's not
or
good.
You're tired.
Horrible.
All the time. And the music's terrible.
Yes.
Anyways.
So
I did feel like I was taking a step back in if you want to talk about like I want to call the church like the clothes you're wearing kind of thing. Like you change the clothes you're wearing. Yeah. I felt like I was taking a step back. But then I was like, no, it's progressive people.
Yeah.
In a traditional style church when I was in a not traditional style church.
Right.
In the beginning. You know what I mean? Right. It was weird.
Yeah.
It was a mind F.
Yeah.
I walked away.
It's a very different feel. Like, the way the worship is conducted is different than Life Church. There's no light show. There's no flashing lights. There's no...
Right.
I mean, maybe they have music. I don't remember. But it's not...
I don't know.
Loud and crazy. Yeah. It's very... There isn't a parking attendant usher guy in a golf cart. Nobody's standing out. Like, no one has handed you earplugs. You don't need them here.
I actually am glad about that, to be honest. There's no lights. Yeah.
And so it's very different. The non-traditional, futuristic, the pastor does backflips on stage. That's not what we're doing here.
No, the actual worship pastor, quotations, the leader, he was a pianist.
Oh.
And it was beautiful. And he's saying, "You are my sunshine" at the end.
Oh, that's so sweet.
And we sang with him.
Oh my gosh, I love it.
I know. And it was a vibe.
That's cute.
So after church, we went home and I was on the way to home. It was like 2:00 and I was like, we want to go to Olive Garden. And Frank's like, not really. And I was like, okay. And that's fine. And then I do want to put this in there. This is kind of important because I feel like other people that may be going through the same situation, like my brain broke and I was in the middle of Walmart.
Yeah.
Because I was going to buy, I wanted soup. And I was like, I'm going to make vegetable soup and I'm going to make chicken soup and I'm going to store it so that I can have future stuff, whatever, be handy.
Why does soup sound so good right now? What
I
are you
know.
doing to me?
Anyways.
It's 100 degrees. Anyway.
My head hurts like the day, like, because we've done a lot of work.
Yeah.
Of processing. So I was processing a lot at the church. I go to Walmart and I'm going to make 2 soups. So I'm like, I need to figure out what I need for the second soup. It's going to be a beef vegetable soup. I had to go sit down by the bathrooms in the back, not the front, to figure out the soup situation.
Oh, my Lord.
And I was like, I want to call it not a panic attack. I can't breathe. Yeah. Almost a nervous breakdown, a silent one. I think I do silent things.
Yeah.
Like, I do not like crying in public. I do not like to be, like, publicly distraught. Yes. Nobody gets to see me like that.
No me gusta.
It's just like women who can have a baby without screaming.
They're incorrect.
Women are out there.
They are.
And I'm like, how?
Crazy pants.
They just are like, ugh.
That's wrong.
I'm like, sorry, what?
Colleen,
no, I'm like,
Colleen did that. She's a badass. It's not real. There's no way.
It's insane.
There's no way. We don't have to put this in there. I don't think she would care, but she, with her first baby, she had it with no medicine, and she
didn't scream.
She said there was like a mental thing going on in her head, almost like, if I make too much noise and show how bad this effing hurts, then I'm not doing it right. I gotta be strong.
So that's me. Yes, that's me with panic stuff.
That's crazy.
Or emotional stuff.
Yeah.
And like, no.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No. So I was having one of those, I want to call it like a nervous breakdown. I could not even walk around. I had to sit down and I had to just sit there and look through Pinterest to find a really good meal. And then I couldn't even get up.
Soup. What's in soup? I don't know.
Exactly. And so I was like, you know what I want? I want pink fingernail polish.
As you should. It looks fantastic.
I went and got it.
It's beautiful.
Because I was like, okay, I do know I need pink fingernail polish.
Yes.
And I need ingredients for soup. So I was like, I can do the pink fingernail polish. And I screenshotted the ingredients I needed. And I started walking. And Frank calls and he's like, so the kids are hungry.
Like, I'm trying. What's in soup?
No kidding. I told you. Do you want to go to Olive Garden? And you said no. And now you're at home and you have to cook for them, or I do. And I was like, I'll cook, but it's going to be
a minute. I got to go get soup. Why do husbands
He's like,
do these
do you
things?
want to pick something up on the way home?
Oh, you think? Maybe I should go to Olive Garden.
And I was like, I was planning on making soup. It was so funny.
Like the kind they have at Olive Garden.
And it's super, inexpensive. It's $8 all you can eat. Soup and salad. Let's go.
Easy. Everyone's happy.
It was so funny.
If you're an Olive Garden girl, you go to Olive Garden, you eat your soup, you go home, everyone's happy.
And you maybe spent $15 per person.
Yeah.
Which isn't cheap, but it's not. No. You can do that at McDonald's.
Good Lord, yes.
Anyway, so I'm standing there, he's saying this, and I'm like, I'm going to be really honest with you right now. And he's being very nice, and I was being very nice. We weren't in an argument or anything. I was I really wanted to go to Olive Garden for a reason, but I didn't tell him that.
Yeah.
He's like, okay, how about we go to Olive Garden?
Oh, yes. Thank you.
And I was like, okay. Yeah. And he goes, are you at, because I was like, I'm having a nervous breakdown.
I am concentrating on soup. I can
work through this.
Yep. I can make some soup.
But it is not going to be fast. Nope. And I am not well. Mm-hmm. My brain hurts. What's it mean to go to a church that's not Christian? Am I thinking this through properly? Is this what I want? Is this what God wants? Is this right?
Yeah. This is what happens when this happens to people. It is not happy-go-lucky.
It's not easy.
No, it is
not well.
A lot. You do a lot of sitting in Walmart trying to think about soup.
While also not trying to cry.
Yeah.
While also
I did this.
Am I messing up my kids?
Yes. Oh yeah.
Or am I do I want to put my kids in this situation? And then
is this going to be another problem? Am I going to have to leave this church? What's happening next? Now what? Then what? And then this? And then this? What does this mean? All blah 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 all the time.
So
that's exhausting.
So it's
you sit down in Walmart and you have a moment. And you can go to Olive Garden later. It's allowed.
And he's like, what's your car? Do you have a bunch of stuff? Are you able to leave? I was like, I had 3 refrigerated chickens.
Yes.
And fingernail polish. And I walked back over.
None of those a soup makes.
Nope. Not a good one. So I was like, yeah, I can actually be. And he goes, when can you meet me there? I was like, go ahead and leave and I'll be done and meet you there.
5 minutes, yeah.
And it'll be fine. Put the chickens back, met him at Olive Garden and ate my fillings.
Good.
And he bought those take-home meals. You can buy them for $6. It's like fettuccine Alfredo.
Yes.
There's spaghetti or the 5-cheese ziti. And we bought 5 of those. We spent over $100 out. Freaking Olive Garden.
I mean, if you'd gone to McDonald's, you would have done the same thing. We just talked about this.
But we had leftovers from our main meal.
Yes.
And then we had take-home meals. And I've been feeding my kids off of that for 2 or 3 days.
Hey, you can't go wrong.
It was amazing.
You can't go wrong.
The take-home meals, they don't eat all of it, so they put it back in the fridge and then heat it back up.
You've got lunch. You've got dinner.
That nervous breakdown.
You've got a weird breakfast if you're feeling in the mood. I don't know what you're going to have for breakfast. Fettuccine? That's weird.
Fettuccine Alfredo. The kids did it.
They will.
They loved it. They're like, cereal, gross. I cannot. Why? When I can have fettuccine.
Fettuccine for breakfast, cereal for dinner. Why not?
But yeah, so I think I'm doing okay.
Yeah.
And I'm also not doing okay.
Yep.
And I'm also in the middle. And I'm also I don't give any craps. But it's all at once.
Yeah.
It's hilarious.
It is a mind fuck for sure.
But
I will say, having done this to some degree, time only makes it better.
True.
As time goes on, it just gets easier and easier.
Yeah.
It's nice that you have your husband and you are doing this together.
Yeah.
And you are able to lean on each other. Because on the days where you're breaking down in Walmart, he's taking an Olive Garden.
And vice versa. Yeah, I've had to carry a few things too.
Yes, it's just how it goes.
Yeah.
But my only advice is let yourself break down and let yourself have the moments. Let yourself feel the feelings. If do what you need to do. If it's take a break and not talk to anybody, do it. If it's I need to blab to everyone I know about everything, do it. It is only going to be better.
Yeah. It's kind of crazy. I never thought I'd be here ever in my whole life.
I know.
That's the mind game.
Yep.
that this is like, I wouldn't have gotten me here. And I think I'm glad I am. Yeah. I'm glad I am not going to Life Church anymore.
Yeah.
Because I still would be going. Mm-hmm. And I would still be a part of a problem.
Yeah.
And I didn't see myself as a part of a problem.
You don't know you are till you know.
And then,
it's like, when you know better,
I'm a solution to the problem because I am an ally here. And I think it's okay if it's working for you.
Yeah. But there are people who do that. And that works.
But being on the outside now, it's like, I mean, was I doing anything? I definitely helped out, but I didn't. I want people like my mindset that was there when I was there to be there. And for the kids, for the people that are part of the community. They need that there. They need the allies there. They need the community. But also, I'm like, if you don't have that there, you'll go somewhere else and find it, right?
Yep.
But
now we talked about this in the episode the long one where we talked about our feelings. Now that you are gone, that little safe pocket that you created for these kids who are part of the LGBTQ community is gone too. That disappears with you. That means that they aren't safe there anymore. So they'll go somewhere else. They'll find another place.
Yeah.
Or they won't. Or they'll stay home. And they'll be okay. That's okay.
And I think Christian people freak out. They're like, but they're not getting preached.
Well, if you want them to be so much, then make sure people are there to take care of them. If you want kids to be in church who are part of this spectrum,
make a space for them,
make sure they're safe there. And you're not. You're kicking people out who do that. So you lie in the bed that you made.
Damn.
Preach.
That's a whole moment.
I know. It's how it is. You can't be mad.
Not like
you can't be upset.
They don't need you, but if you think they need you, then make space for them.
Make sure they're okay here.
Oh, and you're not, Kathleen.
You're doing the opposite. So of course they're not going to be here. Duh.
Mine. What do I do right now?
It's like look at a restaurant. Say you're Olive Garden. You want people to come here and enjoy soup. Let's take soup off the menu. Why isn't anyone coming here to eat soup?
Because you don't have it.
Because you dumbass, you took it off the menu. Hello?
I know. Whatever, man.
It's how it is, but, you know.
Damn.
Such as the journey.
I don't know. Okay, so it's summer for us right now.
Yes. We are technically on a break.
I'm sure we probably, if we need to come back together to record, because it's not going to drop till September. I mean, the new season.
The new season starts in September. This is all happening real time, June, July. We will probably, we will probably be dropping these as bonus content, extra stuff.
Because if needed,
if we wait to drop it when the new season happens, months later.
We'll try and keep up with that, but it might seep into our morning shows once season 3 starts.
It might. And this may be an ongoing... The next time you come back with an update, it may be like, never mind, All Souls did not work. We're doing something else.
I sure hope not. Please don't have any. I mean, whatever. We'll see. I'll let you know.
We'll see how it goes.
All right. Well, you're welcome, I guess.
Let us know.
I'm here for you guys that are going through this, and so is Kathleen. Kathleen been...
Absolutely.
I don't know what I'd do without you.
Oh, I'm so... Listen,
honestly,
this sucks. I've done this. It sucks.
It does.
And I know what you were saying. I'm glad that I'm here, but it still sucked. That's the feeling. This is probably a good thing, but it still is really hard to do. And so, you know,
it's heartbreaking.
Yes.
It's messy. It hurts.
Yes.
It's growing pains.
It is. And it gets better. And it's like grieving. Some days it's great. And some days it is not. And you are really not okay. And that's fine. And I know that our listeners have either experienced this themselves or are in the middle of it or may someday. And so talking about it together.
Yeah, we're here for you guys.
Yeah.
Damn.
Let us know
if you've gone through this. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Let me give you a hug. Come here.
Air hug. Ding, ding, ding.
It's going to be okay, I think.
It will. I did it. It's going to be fine. You're going to end up okay.
I think so, too.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see.
I'm going to make sure of it.
Like, you worry about your kids. That's all. But they're fine.
They're going to be okay.
So are yours.
Yeah, they're great. They're going to be great.
That helps, too.
Yeah, they're going to be great.
All right. Well, we'll catch you guys on the next update. Bye.
Bye. Have you guys checked out our merch yet?
We have awesome t-shirts, mugs, tumblers, and other fun stuff.
Head down to the link in the description to give it a look.